Your event has speakers, but you don't want to or you can't afford a proper speaker management system. Well, your registration can help you out. And this is how. So most of the events that our customers do have some kind of speakers involved, and you need to collect some information from speakers. I'm an event planner myself, and I know how tedious this can be. However, with your registration, you can hack it in a way that it actually makes it simpler. One thing to consider here is that speakers, in a way, are actually attendees, but they have a few special requirements, such as they don't pay for the tickets, and you need to know a bit more information about how are they going to speak, what hardware requirements do they have, and so on. And we're going to look at getting all that information for you through the registration and making sure everything is neat and tidy in one system. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my experience manager for the registration, and I'm going to create a new registration. I'm going to set it to be a paid event, and I'm going to make sure that we only ask for the ticket type in the second step. This is becoming important in a second, so let's do that now. So you've seen I've set the ticket to be the second step in the registration flow. And now let's set up some ticket types. One ticket type for speakers, one ticket type for attendees, and one ticket type for member attendees, just so it looks real and it feels real. Let's do it. There we go. We have our 3 registration types or registrant types. Now we're going to add fields that are specific to speakers to our registration flow. And these fields are going to contain things like, how do you lecture? Do you have a computer with you? Please upload your bio. All these things that you need to gather from your speakers. Let's do it. All right, that was a bit fast, so let's have a look at the fields that we defined. So first I created a new section called speaker information, and then I added a few select fields on what microphone they're using, do they want to stand, do they want to sit, what device will they use to present, as well as a text field for their speaker bio, and 2 file upload fields, one for their profile picture and one for their presentation. So let's look at what it looks like, and let's go to our registration and preview the registration. So I can see the contact information here. I'm just going to fill out the most used fields. So I'm just going to put test@eventmobi.com here. I'm going to click next. And here I can select what type of registrant I am. So what you can see is I have the speaker information here, everything I need to know about my speaker, and they can select also the specific speaker registration type, which is free. Now, this is already pretty cool, but there's a problem with it, because right now, anybody can see the speaker information field, and anybody can select the speaker registrant type. In reality, we only want people who are speakers and who you pre-approve as speakers to also register as such. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is a little trick. We're going to add a field that asks for a speaker password or a speaker code. And only if that field is entered correctly, can they register as speakers and can they see the field below. And the way we're doing this is by setting conditions. So let's go back to the backend and start setting that up. So I'm going to click on Form Conditions. And the first thing it's asking me is which fields should be always displayed by default. And so let's deactivate all the speaker fields. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a condition for speakers. So we're going to click on Add Condition, and I'm going to call this the speaker rule. And you see, here is a field called Conditions, and we're going to get back to that in a second. And if this field is true, then the following actions happen. And so what we're going to set up here is we're going to make all these fields visible here. And also we're going to make sure that the category speaker registration is visible to them. And now we're going to hit save, because we need one other thing. We need that field where they can enter that secret speaker. So I'm going to hit save and create that field. Now that I created that text field, I'm going back to conditions. I'm going into my speaker rule. I'm going to say if the speaker code equals, and then I can set my own speaker code here. So let's use I am speaker. And let's have a look at our registration again and see how it has changed. So I'm going to enter my email address here, and I'm going to enter the speaker code. I am a speaker here. And what you can see is once I enter it, all these other fields pop up. So now I can make all these selections. And if I click next, I will only see the speaker registration ticket type. So this is pretty cool. But there's one thing that we forgot, and I'm going to show you what exactly we forgot. Because now we defined that only speakers can see the speaker registration type. However, if I'm not a speaker, I cannot see any registration types. So we essentially need to create the inverse formula for the speaker code, or the inverse condition for non-speakers. And that's very simple. We're simply going to do the opposite of what we did earlier. So we're going to say, call this non-speakers. And we're going to say if speaker code not equal, I am a speaker. And then we're going to set the category non-member registration to show and the category member registration to show. And so now that we've done that, we can go back, restart our registration, and let me just register without a speaker code. And you can see right now, I can't see the speaker registrant type, but I can see the other two registrant types. So that way, you can collect a lot of information from your speakers specific to your speakers. One thing I want you to bear in mind as well is you can make some of the fields mandatory, like the speaker bio and the profile picture, but you can leave the presentation non-mandatory. So if you allow your registrants to change something in their registration, they can go back at a later point, make the changes, and upload the presentations later. The other big advantage is if you're using it with the EventMobi event app, all the speakers are already going to be there. You can map them to the specific speaker fields through our integration, and you can make sure that you have all the information about all the people attending your event in one spot. Obviously, this doesn't only work for speakers, but it could work for any other type, like volunteers and maybe building crew and so on. The more information you have on your attendees, the easier it becomes to run your event. So think about not only using your registration for attendees, but everybody that interferes or that has to do with your event. I hope this was helpful.